Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Grayson Omnibus. This is written by Tim Seeley and Tom King, and I believe the art is by Michael Janin. This is a bit of a different kind of take on Nightwing overall. It's putting him into a sort of spy role. He's working alongside Helena, which is the Huntress, so he's sort of, obviously worked alongside her before. With a lot of sort of reboots and spin-arounds for New 52, we can't really take any continuity from the past relationships of the two of them. We do treat this as a little bit kind of a fresh kind of story, but is a good read nonetheless. So let's take a closer look at the book itself, and then we can come back and discuss it a bit further. Okay, so on the front we have Grayson as Agent 37, and we've just got a nice clean Grayson logo and DC in the corner. Again on the spine just says Grayson, the Superspy Omnibus, DC. And then on the back we've got just call him Agent 37. A bit of a kind of synopsis here, who the kind of creators and things are, and some quotes. And this says it comes in at $99.99 US and $130.99 Canadian. I want to say I paid about £50 for it, something like that. On the hardcover itself, we've got Grayson and the creators, a bunch of kind of spirals, just kind of goes around to the back, and the DC logo, so we've got nothing on the spine itself. This style, like in a few of the New 52 Omnibus, kind of carries on whichever style's on the outside throughout the book, so you're going to have this kind of throughout. We've got a bit of a sort of introduction, kind of the stages of Dick Grayson, I guess, and then the story kind of just kicks straight in. I love the motion kind of done in this book. It's really kind of cool where they've got kind of how he kind of falls or jumps in a kind of different colour. There are some really weird drawings of Dick Grayson throughout this book as well, so where you'll see, for instance, kind of over here, he's got a really kind of clean and pretty face, and you get kind of cover art like this where you're just like, who the hell is this guy? This is not Dick Grayson, look how ugly that guy is. It's really weird, and then you've got a totally different face here, if I show you this face up here. So that can be kind of off-putting when they're jumping back and forth between artists sometimes, because, as I say, this main art is awesome, love it, but when they change back and forth, it's just kind of off-putting a bit. And we get a lot of different kind of cameos with Midnighter throughout, which is really cool. Now we're about the middle of the book. I just want to show you guys the spine. It raises up really well. And let's just skip to the back and look at any extras. So at the back, I believe we get the first issue of Nightwing Rebirth. And then we get some character designs now. See, some of these are really bad. It's quite funny. Look how bad some of these are. Imagine this was Grayson. I think some of these are cool for like a modern Nightwing if they were to do like a movie or something, but yeah, not really a spy outfit. Midnighter looks awesome. And here's some covers. It looks really weird in some of these covers though. As I say, just I don't know what's going on with these artists. Like, what the hell? Look at this face. So, I mean, the only reason we know that's him is because he's wearing his costume, but, I mean, what the hell, guys? Anyway, glad those artists weren't the artists throughout the book, let's just say that. And then we've got some just sort of page layouts and stuff at the back here. Some covers. I actually read it originally in trades, and I picked it up pretty much as soon as it came out as an omnibus, but I've just never really got round to reading it because I was picking up so many books at that point. So I've just finished reading back through this about, sort of this week or so, and I really enjoyed reading back through. The great thing with the omnibus is it actually includes a few of the sort of crossover issues to do with the We Are Robins sort of story, and I think there's one or two issues to do with some other bits and pieces. There are still a couple of, I guess, sort of jarring changes in the book, and I would put that down to the fact that we've got sort of two different writers on the book overall, and actually there were some sections that were written by different writers, but I guess the story was guided by the main two sort of writers here, so you might end up with the end of one part and then the next part kind of comes along, it doesn't quite match up right. I mean, well enough to be able to read the story and still get what's going on, but if you were, looking for the specifics, you might... Yeah, it just, as I say, didn't flow kind of perfectly like it was one writer all the way through in that kind of sense. I'd also kind of point out at this kind of stage that the art did a very similar thing for me, where the sort of cover art and the interior art, at least for sort of the first half of the book, all kind of matched up really well, and Grayson's face is really kind of smooth, and the outlines, as you can almost kind of see on the kind of cover here, in scale to the face, were quite kind of thin, and then you start getting different artists, and especially the ink work seems to go really thick and almost kind of slightly sketchy at times, and Grayson gets this really kind of gruff kind of face. You'll have seen that as well in the sort of cover art at the back of the book. There's a few different artists that have really weird takes on Grayson's kind of looks. So that threw me a little bit. Thankfully, in the book, their sort of costumes are kind of colour coordinated, so each kind of agent has their own kind of colours. I want to say like Agent 1 is maybe yellow, Grayson's kind of a greeny blue, 8's red, stuff like that. So you can kind of tell, even if their face doesn't match up, you can kind of tell by their outfit who it is, so it's not too bad in that sense, I guess. I think that it was interesting that they didn't ignore the fact that this was a sort of massive step away from his previous kind of, I guess, ventures, where Dick Grayson's been Robin, the first Robin, and he's been Nightwing. He's been a sort of circus act kind of trapeze artist. He's been Batman. Basically, they were just showing that the big kind of difference between sort of trapeze artist to Robin to sort of Nightwing to this is sort of there, and they sort of really comment on that at different parts in the book. Grayson's dealing with his own sort of mental issue here, and sort of looking at the idea of, who am I? What am I at this point? I'm supposed to be sort of dead, and nobody in my life, sort of exists to me anymore, and, you know, what am I kind of doing? And he has to settle on the fact that he's Dick Grayson, right? You know, regardless of any of these mantles or things that he's taken on, he's always been Dick Grayson. And he has to kind of find himself in that kind of way. There's loads of little bits and things that I think different people would enjoy the book for overall. It's a really funny book. It's also, as I say, a massive kind of commentary on the history of sort of Dick Grayson. So, you know, even if you didn't know a lot of the history, having read sort of New 52, Nightwing, and then this, going forward, you would still know a lot of history about Dick Grayson, which is great, really. You know, considering I probably got a lot of this knowledge spread across a lot of other books that I read, you know, initially. So it's a good kind of almost recap in a way. The story itself, I say, is him as a spy and stuff, is just really cool. I like how he kind of does that. He's got this kind of, as I say, banter back and forth with different kind of characters. Well, he's got the banter. They don't really want to banter back, but that's funny in itself. There's a little bit in the book where he kind of starts making up his own song around the fact that he's Agent 37, and it's sort of done to the sort of beat of the Man with the Golden Gun. And yeah, I don't want to spoil the song for you guys, but I say look out for that, it's funny. It really gets into Dick Grayson and his kind of character, his humour, how he kind of deals with things, and yeah, it's just a good book overall. So I can't really recommend it enough. It's the only, you know, Dick Grayson omnibus out there, so I'd support it from that point of view as well, because, you know, I'd love more sort of Nightwing books to get the sort of oversized hardcover treatment. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video overall. As always, comment below, let me know what you thought of the Grayson run, if you picked it up in trades or in the omnibus. Share with any friends that might want to know about this book as well. As always, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys next time.